I'm going to create the artwork for the elbow box set. I'm going to be working with guides already given to me by the printer. The reason being is it's a relatively bespoke box set involving a specific size that has to be worked out by the printers. Normally what we would do is usually create our own guides, but this is too important for a limited edition release. So the printers have specified the size to us. So here's my InDesign page. What I'm going to do now is, in fact, before I do that, I'm going to go straight to the layers section. So I'm going to create, at the moment, 3 layers. The first layer I'm going to call grid. Second layer I'm going to call art, which is the layer I'm going to be working on. But I'm also going to create a guides section. Working in layers in this instance is just very important, especially if you're using multiple layers. So on illustrated documents that you're bringing in, it's very important just to be able to click through the layers that you want. Otherwise, it can be very confusing with artwork. So, grid layer selected. I'm going to place in my PDF. Just drop it in for size. And I'm going to butt this up to the margin that I've created, 10mm in this instance. I'm just going to zoom in here. This is the way a normal preview of a PDF would look. So it's always good to work in overprint preview, of course, because this is the exact, or as exact as possible, as you can see. So now when I start actually laying guides down, I'm working on hairlines as opposed to something which is like twice, 3, 4 times as thick, which is impossible to work with. So work with overprint previews. I'm going to place in my guides, making sure, see, I made that mistake, making sure that I have my guides layer selected, paste it in. So now when I don't want my guides, I can just click on, click off. If I don't want the grid, click on, click off. And now just the guides on its own. So what I'm going to do for the time being, because sometimes the grid can be a little bit confusing to look at, I'm going to just basically work on the art and guide section. So now, art selected, I'm going to create my base section. So that is the area that I'm working with. This is actually quite a simplistic artwork to produce because I'm literally just working in this instance with 1 colour black. If I was working with 4 colour, of course, I'd be working with what we call a shiner black, which is a different percentage of CMYK. That gives a good density black. Sometimes K100 on its own, as you probably know, can almost look like grey when it's with kind of like darker, richer 4 colours. This is actually going to be covered in a kind of, it's a fabric which isn't necessarily lithoed. So in this instance, I don't need to worry about other colours. So what I'm going to do, and always make sure that you get rid of the colours you don't want. There's nothing more annoying than if you're working with, say, 1 colour or 4 colour, and maybe an EPS creeps in, and that might be a Pantone. Then, of course, this is kind of extra expensive because that adds another kind of colour layer, and it just basically makes clients very unhappy. So this is my bleed area. I'm just going to go in quickly, just make sure it roughly butts up. At this stage, I'll be a little bit more refined with this right at the end when the artwork's ready to go, but I just want to see it's butting up now. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to grab the elbow logo, copy that, and now again making sure art, I'm going to paste the elbow logo in. But what I'm going to do now is I need to center the elbow logo within this space. So all I'm going to do now, I'm going to delete this, but this is just an area. Make sure this is in front. These are now selected. So I'm just going to align these together so they're now dead center. Just move this in, make sure it's correct. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. So now I'm going to get rid of that external, and now with the layers selected, I'm going to pull the grid back in. So let's have a quick investigation of this grid. So as you can see, it's made up of what we call the header, which is the top, and then you've got the footer, of course, front, back. This area here is what we'd see in the box spine. The areas above and below, of course, are the sides of the box. The way this box works is that this area here is essentially hollow, so all of the records slot in like it's a little kind of library slipcase. So now I'm going to make sure that everything tallies up properly. Let's just make sure that this is looking good. That's looking a bit strange at the top. Let's just have a quick look. So that is the top area there. So yeah, we're all good. Yep, that's fine. Let's quickly work. Yep, you can see this dotted outline here, so I'm within area. Let's just go out. Yep, all good, all good. Yep, you can see the dotted outer. All good on that area as well, so excellent. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to save this. In our studio, we can't be thorough enough about what we're working on in terms of initials, in terms of presentations, and the all-important final artwork stage. So you can never be too thorough in distinguishing what is final from everything else. So let's call it final art. Create that, and now I'm going to save this as elbow box set final. Save within that, you can see it's now called elbow box set final. I've done a check, always have a last minute check. Yep, all the extra colours have gone. Check the layers are okay, because now when I send this off to the printers, now the printers can basically get rid of the grid layer if they wish, and we've got the guides in place to register. So that's the way it looks. As you can see, centered up on the front section. There's the spine, there's the top spine, bottom spine, back cover. No artwork around here, because obviously the printer knows that that's the kind of cropping edge. And that, one more save. It's not. That is that artwork ready to go.